With increased population globally, the demand for environmental services, especially water, is on the rise. As scientists trying to come with ways of meeting this demand, more young people are coming with innovative means of closing the gap. But a couple of challenges are encountered along the way. To name a few, one is the experience that we are supposedly lacking within the field, and in some instances seeing the young people as not qualified for certain topics, yet we are qualified even though we are in a learning process. And secondly is the stakeholder representation. This is a big issue in terms of making sure that all the role players are part of a project. In many cases, the local communities as well as the young people are not part of the design and planning stage and only considered for capacity building where possible or evaluation phases. These challenges are hindering the progress that is supposed to be within the water sector as far as the research is concerned. But the bigger thing to that is also turning this research into action, and that is an issue of funding. It's an issue of stakeholder involvement, and in many cases, it's also an issue of making sure the people are aware of the issue from the beginning. So what are the few things that we can do to change the current way of research within the water sector? One of the most important things that I believe the UN for Women will also agree is making sure that our research is gender orientated. As a scientist, when conducting your research, ask yourself, how does my research link to gender? How does it affect gender directly or indirectly? A practical example of this would be if you are coming with a solution on how to address an issue of access to water. How does that look on an angle of people of the different genders, with the distance have to be walked, with the way of accessing it, and so forth. Also, we need to also improve our science communication to make sure that we use more layman language that's going to make it easy for the end users to understand as compared to the jargon that is within our field. And lastly, the preservation of the indigenous knowledge is very critical for water research to make sure that our solutions and innovations are sustainable and inclusive of what the local communities prefer. So the last thing to look at is to say what topics currently need attention within the sector. Just to name a few, groundwater. We need to make the invisible visible. This is to ensure people understand the value for water and also improve the governance of our groundwater resources. Without the groundwater or using it too much, we will have more trouble with our water resources. Lastly, the capacity building within water resource management and governance is very important, and this is inclusive of policy making and decisions. Young people need to be in the forefront of it. We are qualified, they are experts, and there's a lot that can be learned with the cross-generational conversations within the water sector.